Listen, for you guys who don't know me, my name is Dwayne Dwyer. I go by the Mindset Coach, and it is an honor and privilege to introduce the speaker for this evening. Now, listen, I want to kind of set the conditions because those of you who know this brother, you understand what he brings to the table. You understand who he is and how he behaves when he is on camera. He shows up and he shows out, right? And I met this brother through a friend, a good friend of mine, brother Roland Walker. And what I would tell you is that when meeting this young man, I was thoroughly impressed to such a degree. I had to extend an invitation to him because I wanted him to be a part of our community. And what I would tell you is that he has been nothing but value added. He obviously is a lover of Christ and the study of scriptures. He is a family man. He is a brother. He is a good friend, and he is a great conversationalist. So without further ado, I would like to present to you my brother, who I affectionately call the son of Timothy, no one other than Brother Tawami Gaddy. You muted, bro. You muted.
Man, starting off crazy. I'm sorry. Man, thank you, Coach, for that intro, man. Thank you for this opportunity to host this webinar. Uh, Greatly appreciative, Doc. Um, whew.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so today I was telling Coach actually in the back in the back studio, I love this topic so much because I think it leads right down the warehouse of where I believe the Most High God is leading me. And that's talking about not just the health, but the availability of men in our community, right? And health is a major factor. Um, so with this topic, I'm gonna try to have some fun there with it. But I'm probably gonna be a little passionate. So stay with me. As we get started, don't don't forget to share the link. Get all the brothers in here. We need to hear and talk about our health. We need to talk about the things that we don't like to talk about because we don't like doctors and we don't like advice when it comes to how to treat our bodies. But it's time for us to knuckle down and become more available, right? Um, so when I say that, uh, the first thing that jumps to my mind, Romans 12:1, is to present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And then the first thing I thought about when I asked this question, it was, or when I first started this scripture, it was, if I look myself in the mirror, physically and mentally, of what I put into my body and what I do to my body, is it acceptable? And if it's not acceptable unto me, then how can it be acceptable to Christ, right? And this is our reasonable service. And I know we talk about so many different aspects of our health. We talk about it from the realms, or not even of our health, but of being acceptable to Christ. We talk about it from a spiritual aspect, but there's also a physical aspect that is necessary in order for us to be available to God. So, everybody who knows me, I'm the son of Timothy, but I'm also the available man, um, by title. And the first person I must be available to is to God, right? Um, so as we move forward, I want y'all to look at this scripture with me for a moment. And when you get a chance, go back and read this whole chapter. It'll really blow your mind, right? Uh, but look at the last two verses of this chapter of 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20. He says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own? Right? That's the first thing. You're not your own. As we go through this conversation, we need to take a look back at ourselves and realize that even in our flesh, we are not our own. We belong to the Father. We belong to Christ. How do I know this? Verse 20 tells me, for you are brought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. Um, and I use this scripture because it's like, hey, I told you, a part of our service to God, a part of our worship to God, a part of our work for the Father is right here in our members, right? Now, full disclosure, this specific chapter was talking about um sleeping with a harlot, right? That when you sleep with a harlot, you become one with the harlot, and that's who you become, right? But the principle behind it wasn't specifically just about sleeping with the harlot. It was, as we take care of our spirit, man, let us not forget our flesh, right? Let us not do the things to our flesh that does not appease the Father. And how do I know it don't appease the Father? Because it affects my health. It affects how I live. It affects how I move, how I breathe. It affects how I think. And this is going to be the discussion that we kind of go for today, right? I'm gonna try not to move too fast because I can do that, um, because I don't want to lose no one. So we got some slides up here, and I want to use these slides so that we can keep our mind focused on the hard topic, which is men's health. It's a hard topic, right? So as we look and dive into this, we look here that that some of the leading illnesses among men. Let's look at this. If you got your phone, screenshot it, send it to someone. Um, and there are a lot more. I took through research the top ones that I thought that I know personally are affecting people that I personally know. And as you look through this list, ask yourself, how many people do I know that are suffering here? Right? That the third one, I personally suffer, right? Um, I believe that I'm winning my battle. I'm young, so time will tell, right? I'm doing all the things that I know now to do in order to take care of my body, right? But look here at these leading illnesses, right? Cancers, heart disease, diabetes, prostate cancer, stroke, and unintentional injuries, right? Leading causes of illnesses among men. We need to become more intentional about how we treat and how we take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies, right? I'm talking to everyone, but I'm definitely talking to my men, right? Because our women need us to stick around. It's commonplace to say that the men normally pass away before the women, but we have to learn how to become more available. We look at scriptures and we ask questions like, man, how did they live to 200, 300, 400? You go back to Noah, he was like, what, 600 years old when the flood came, something like that, you know? So when we looking at this, we like, man, there's no way, times has really changed. Times have changed because we don't know what we're doing to our bodies, right? If you look at all of these minus the unintentional injuries, right, that come from more so of like physical activities. Looking at at these things, you see one major thing, and it's the blood, right? The scriptures teach us that the life is in the blood, and there are so many lessons that can be taken from that. But here specifically, we're looking at cancers, heart disease, diabetes, prostate cancers, but more cancer and strokes. A lot of these things have to do and deal with our blood flow, right? About how and all of that has to deal with what we put into our body, right? So as we're taking a look at this, and as you are taking note of these or screenshots or pictures of these and sending it to your fathers, your brothers. I saw someone mention grandfather, you know, or he instilled that in you. Praise be to the Most High, right? We have to understand that this thing is based upon our blood flow. Life is in the blood. So as we move forward, we're gonna take a look at some foods. We I think we do too much talking about what not to eat. Everything you look at on TV, every video you click on, every link, it tells you don't eat this and don't eat this and don't eat this. But no one has ever sat us down and said, "Hey, what should I eat to be better, to feel better, to look better, to move better?" Right? And as you take care, these are about what, 7, 8 different ingredients that helps with blood flow, right? It's easy. We say, hey, if you want to get stronger, go to the gym. But you want to know why you in pain for so long after a good gym workout? Because your blood flow is not right. Your blood flow is what's carrying those properties and that oxygen throughout your body that helps your mind. It helps your heartbeat. It helps fight off illnesses and keep cancers and clots away from your body. That blood flow. These are just some. And here's a little disclaimer. As I show you some of these slides, go back and do the research because there's a lot more foods that we can eat. They don't all sound appealing because they're not all deep fried, sizzled, and slapped over a grill. Well, you could slap some of these things over a grill. I'm pretty sure I done slapped an onion and a tomato on a grill and done some wonders with it. I don't know what you could do with a cinnamon stick or cayenne pepper, but these are things to do. I know we all just got through COVID, right? We're about 2 years through the heat of COVID. Two things that went into my teas every day was turmeric and cayenne pepper. Right, those things went into my the cayenne pepper helped with my lungs. It helped with my mucus buildup. Um, and some studies will tell you that mucus is a large cause to a lot of illnesses as well, right? But the makeup is our blood flow, these properties coming through. So as we go through these slides, man, just keep taking notes. Keep taking notes. We're gonna move forward, right? Um, Now this also has something to do with your blood because it's cellular health, right? It your blood flow and your blood cell count. Those two things, if we can increase those two things at the same time, it's a wonder what the health benefits will be. What will happen to my body when I can get my blood flow right and I can get my blood cell count back up, right? Now I know a lot of people gonna fight me with the red meats, right? And I don't. Some people would teach you not to eat meat whatsoever. Some would teach you to eat a lot of meat. I would tell you not everybody's going to cut meat out. So I added it in there, right? And some people will cut meat completely out. But if you're going to keep it in your diet, there's a lesson that I've learned in researching and watching what other countries do. We're probably one out of very few countries that prioritize the portion of meat over the portion of the rest of our plate. We'll X vegetables completely out of our diets, and we'll jump straight to the meat. Well, give me a double portion of that. Give me a bigger portion of that steak. Why not a, 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 a 3 ounce, a 5 ounce? We go straight for the 8, straight for the 12-ounce steak. That's that's a lot. And that red meat does not process through your body as fast. So though I have it up there, and I put it up there first because I wanted to talk about it first. I wanted to see it first. So don't put too much of that red meat into your body because it is not necessarily good for us, right? The next thing is our dark leafy vegetables. I know on the last slide we had our leafy vegetables, but our dark leafy vegetables, right? Um, like our broccolis, our kale, stuff like that, our spinach. Those things are very vital and important to our blood cell, our cellular blood count, right? To get those red and white blood cell counts up will help you fight off any illnesses that you currently have. It'll help repair things going on in your body that you might have been fighting with for a while, right? Because that's how your body fights off viruses and illnesses. That's how your body heal open wounds. Is through the flow of your blood, in your blood being able to. Now, I'm gonna jack this word up, and I'm only giving y'all this disclaimer because I see my brother Ro on here, and he's the English teacher in the group. He corrects you no matter what, and he's a medic. So, but for your blood to be able to coagulate, right? For those of us who are not medical, for your blood to clot, right, and heal wounds and to fight things. That's what your cellular count is good for. So as we go through the rest and understand as we go through the rest of this summit, the rest of this conversation, the two most important parts to add on top of everything you do is get your blood right. Get your blood cell right. Right? That's what we that's the least we can do to help our body move forward. Um Lentils, beans, dried fruit, right? Um some and someone asks can we provide some alternatives to this list, to some of this list, right? Um to be honest with you, if you take out your red meats, go ahead and throw in and thank you coach for that, right? 7 superfoods for prostate health. That's actually a part of this cellular, and it's actually a part of the next slide too. So thank you for that, coach. But if you take out red meat, you can also focus on certain fishes that are good for your iron intake, right? Because you want to get your iron and copper, your iron levels high, get your copper levels high. If it's stuff on here that you can't eat, I would say I'm not a big proponent on putting supplements on top of everything, but some some people might not like the different avenues to getting iron. So take some iron pills, right? I think when we talk about women, a lot of women like to chew and eat ice, and that drags down your iron level. Maybe cut that out, right? And I know the focus today is on men's health, but that is also a factor because part of our health is having our women there with us. If, only a fool would deny that, right? Um, Beans, I don't think you need to supplement that because there's so many different varieties that you can have. Dry fruit, get get some whole fruits. Trust me, it won't hurt your diet. But if you find yourself low on your iron and you need to take some iron pills, some supplements, do that. Or if your iron is low, absolutely. But make sure, but those that dark leafy vegetables, I'm not going to supplement that. I'm I know they have these super drinks. You could put these super greens, put them in your drinks and in and in your shakes or what have you. Those are good. I use some of it sometimes in my protein shakes after the gym, but it cannot replace you actually eating your your dark leafy vegetables. Let's move forward because I don't want to hark on that for too long, right? Grapeseed, yes, thank you. Y'all got people in the chats that are actually putting in a lot of good. They're putting in good information, so keep them coming because there's certain. I didn't want to overwhelm the list, right? There are a lot more, and the reason being is I think it's very important that we do the research ourselves, right? As you see here, I put foods that are good for our organ health, right? Now, why is this important? Because a part of it is your blood. A major part of it is your blood flow and your blood count. But here's the thing: the reason why we have diabetes is because our pancreas go bad. Right? You get what I'm saying? Some of these things are very important to the underlying core causes. We look at diabetes and we'll say sugar, but what's causing my sugar to act out of order, either go low or go high? We'll say it's the insulin usage. Well, what is causing my body not to properly use or process insulin? It's your pancreas, right? So as we look at some of these foods work and operate and help with different organs, right? I put them all together uh, on purpose, right? Because I don't want us to say, well, this is my problem. I'm going to focus here. We need to focus. I, it's crazy to me that as human beings, we've become so accustomed to being proactive towards everything that is outward. All right, everything that is affected outwardly to our bodies, but we're not proactive to the things that affect us internally. Men don't go get their prostate checked until what? Until 40? So when the doctor recommends it? Well, how about before we get our prostate checked, we start eating a healthy enough diet, putting things into our diet that will help keep our prostate healthy. Let's not hope that we have good genes and that our body's strong. Let's do the things we need to do that can actually benefit us, right? And and you're right, we should start getting absolutely, thank you. Right. So look at this. Our omega 3s, you can supplement that, or you can eat some fatty fish. Where do you find the fatty fishes? Right? It's not at the bottom of the sea. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not your fish without scales. So I'm sorry for everybody that loves to go find them bottom feeders like catfish and crabs and and your other shellfishes that sit at the bottom of the ocean and of the sea. But you can find a lot of your omega 3s and iron. Let's go back to that, right? Right. And those fatty fishes, the ones that you got to scale off. You got to get that butter knife. Remember, yeah, I know I wasn't the only one back in the day that used to sit there in the kitchen with my mama with the butter knife and try to scale them fishes. And I was trash at it. I didn't like doing it, so I tried to do it as slow as possible. But I got good. I got some motivation. Y'all know what that means, right? Fatty acids, bananas, papayas, flax seeds. Now, I will share this with flax seeds. This is something that I do, uh, and I notice now it's become very popular. But what I do is I take me some oats, and I think now they call them overnight oats. But I used to do this in the barracks because I was lazy, right? But now as an adult, I use almond milk. I don't use actual cow milk anymore. I don't drink it no more. Not only am I lactose intolerant, but I don't think that's supposed to be a long term diet plan for us. But I I will leave that alone, right? But what I do is I take some oats and probably about 8 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces of almond milk and a cup of oats. I'll sit it in a cup overnight and I'll pour my flax seeds in there and I'll mix it up. I also, for myself, I put raisins and dried dried prunes and stuff like that. Put that in there, and you can put whatever you would like in your oatmeal, right? Some nuts, mix it in. Don't worry about it. Close it, seal it, put it in the fridge, and let it sit overnight. Man, them things, work miracles for me. So that's just me. That's how I get my flaxseed because everybody got to find a way to do it. I don't like flaxseed. Cabbage, asparagus, pumpkin seeds. These are certain things, and these, like I say, all of these help with different things. Some of them help with your skin. Some of them help with your pancreas. Some of it helps with just intestinal and stomach health. But we need we need to go after putting some of these ingredients into your system and more. You see Cassandra, Lisa, they dropping some good stuff in there, right? Mahi mahi. I got introduced to that in Hawaii when I lived there for 3 years. I love mahi mahi, right? Uh, but we need to start adding some of these ingredients, make them part of your normal diet, right? Learn, and here's why I'm sharing it like this, because I don't want us to leave here and say, I'm gonna go on a diet. No, a diet is just what you eat. You on one right now. Either it's good or it's bad, right? A diet is what you eat. But we need to look at this thing as a lifestyle change, not as a quick crash diet that changes that changes our lifestyle for a few weeks, and then we crash and go right back into everything that we ate before, and we eat it in a rush because we missed it. But let's start by adding some of these ingredients into our daily diet. Instead of eating big lunches at work, let's eat more salads with these leafy and dark green vegetables in them, right? With lentils in them, with beans in. Let's make a habit out of eating better and cut some of these things out that affect us. Put these things, and here's the major reason why. Because the scriptures that we say we love so much tells us so. When we talk about the fish without scales, right? How about we go back to Leviticus? That's what it tells us to stay away from. You got to eat the fish with scales. See, but someone told you that if you eat the dietary laws, then you're not pleasing Christ. What? That makes no sense to me. I hate when I hear people say crazy stuff like that. That if you do anything written in Leviticus, Deuteronomy, you have no need for Christ. Or maybe you could take care of your body, and maybe God gave us some insight of what He created for us to take in and what He hasn't created for us to take in. And so when we go back to the fact that our reasonable service is that we present our body as a living sacrifice, holy, which is lawful, and acceptable, which is healthy. We have to do these things, right? Or how about we look at First Corinthians again? He says, "So let us honor God with our body and our spirit." We always talk about the spiritual part, which is very important, but that spirit is indwelled into what we call the temple, right? Let's let's look at this, right? Verse 20, for ye are bought with a price, right? First thing first, you don't belong to yourself. Take care of this temple. Anybody understand anything about the temple? When the temple was built, it was built with detail and with purpose, with craftsmanship, right? Even the way the temple looked was supposed to honor the Most High. But we'll say with our body that we don't need to do anything to honor the Most High. All right, I get it. If we don't want to look good so that our husbands and wives are pleased with how we look, well, at least let's make our bodies more available to the Most High. We can go back to the other slide. All right, so go ahead, take a few notes on this, but we're gonna move forward. You was right. I apologize. But we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna start talking a little bit, not overwhelmingly, about movement and exercise. So now let me put a disclaimer, right? No, I am not a a doctor, a nutritionist, a professional. I am somebody who has just done some research, incorporated what the principles of the scriptures, and saw that the research and the scriptures align, that our health is important to God, and it's important to your kids, it's important to your spouse, it's important to your community. We've become so selfish in a sense that we only care about what we're going to intake next, and what we're going to indulge ourselves with next, and what we're going to do next, instead of understanding these simple changes in our lifestyle make us better for the people in our community, starting with the Most High, then with yourself, then with your family, right? I think one of the biggest fears for me as a man, as a young man, was to grow up and to become too hurt. And I always looked at the military in the sense I didn't want to have bad knees and can't bend down to pick up my kids. I didn't want to do all this stuff. I didn't want my back to throw out, and I couldn't throw the football or the baseball with my kids. And then one day I found out that my knees could feel better if I eat better. My back could feel better if I strengthen it better, if I move better. All right. So we must look at this concept from that mindset, right? Of becoming better for one another, becoming better for one another. So movement and exercise. Uh, I'm not messing with you, Rolly. Though that's my boy. I love him. Uh, but but look, you can't take in something that's bad for you, pray over it, and then it becomes good. All right, that the Bible don't tell you to do that over yourself. Maybe fix yourself, right? Um, but a part of us becoming more healthy and fighting off illnesses and unexpected injuries is strengthening our bodies. Get out there and get active, right? Um, so I created a slide, and we're gonna talk about this. Absolutely. You see what Michelle Ray? You all up in my slides now. Let me get. I'm joking. I'm joking. All right. Uh, look over here where it says workout. One of the things I think most people hate doing is running and walking. Right. So as we look over here on the workouts, the first thing I put up there was walking and running. Get your body mobile. Get your body loose. Sweating is actually good for you. Loosen up your joints. Do that daily. You gotta, man. I was so mad when the gym close to my house closed, and I had to drive downtown to get to the gym in the morning because it takes away my ability to walk there. It's good to get on the treadmill and elliptical, but it's nothing like the ground. It's nothing like hitting pavement, right? Um, and you have to keep your body mobile. You can lift weights all day, but if you're not mobile, some of those workouts that we do in the gym when we lift weights, it stiffens our body. And though we look big and we look strong, but if somebody really came into your house to attack you, all they got to do is move quick because you're stiff. You can't get them. You can't reach out and touch somebody, right? I learned that lesson the hard way. So you have to get your body mobile. On top of being mobile, you got to stretch. You got to stretch. And so here's where I segue for a second because this is a lesson I taught at a church in Oklahoma, and someone came to me and said that was a really good lesson, but I'm not going to listen because I like what I do, and that's cool. But I'm gonna keep teaching it and saying it anyway, right? We have to be careful about what we do because as we're taking care of our physical body, we can't forget our spirit. And so as soon as I said stretches, I know somebody out there went straight in their mind to go into yoga, right? Now, do what you're going to do. But my research shows me that what yoga is, the stretches that we do in yoga really come from uh, different practices, right? And so when you practice these, when you do these certain practices, you supposedly conjuring these spirit animals, whatever, and getting your body to a place to where your chakras align, and then the kundalini rotates through your chakras through your spine and awakens your third eye, right? Now that to me was enough for me to go, all right, let's look into this because people were living long before yoga showed up. It's just all now that we like it, right? Now that we like yoga, a lot of people hold on to it like there's no alternative to stretches and workouts. So be careful with what we do. Do your due diligence in your research, right? But I understand some people will do it anyhow. and I can't really teach a whole lesson on these things, but those cultures that do those things, they do it for a religious practice. It's a spiritual practice to them, right? And I'm not a Hindu, and I don't have a yogi, right? That 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 presides over my spirit, right? So let's just be careful. Those things weren't built for us. That's not our culture. That's not who we are. Um, but you need to stretch, and stretching is very, very good for your body, and is good for your blood flow, and that elasticity helps keep you from injury as you are going throughout your day. While you ever walked? Because and I know a lot of people are thinking I'm not getting injured because I'm not going to the gym, but you ain't never walked up a flight of stairs and felt the pull in your hamstring, right? You ain't never uh you ain't never went from one room to the other room. You ain't never got up off the couch and felt the pull. You ain't see those normal things that we do every day is why you do these stretches, is why we do some of these workouts, is because it helps you function every day. The goal is to be available, not an Olympian. I ain't telling nobody get out there and try to be Mr. Olympic, Miss America. I know. What I'm saying is be available. And so to be able to perform acts like getting up off the couch, like picking something up off the floor, like walking up the stairs without pulling, you have to stretch, and you have to force yourself to become mobile and active. Next is hip strength and stretching. And believe it or not, this is something I just recently learned. I was doing, I can't remember what I was doing. I might have been squats or something, right? Which is more of a glute workout and a hamstring workout, right? But I had took 2 years off in the gym, and I got in there, and I was like, I'm only gonna do this small weight until I build myself back up. I got down there and I did that small weight. I said, let me slap another plate on there too. Right. I slapped it on there, and I went down, and I felt something that didn't feel right. And I came up, and I've been going to the chiropractor every day ever since. Well, not every day, once a week, ever since. And finally I come to the understanding I didn't pinch nothing in my back. I thought I messed something up in my lower back. I'm scared and I'm in pain. I think you can ask coach for a while. I was sitting in the chair while we getting ready to go live, and I just couldn't get comfortable because my back. But it was my hip placement, and it affected me being able to sit a certain way. It affected me from being able to move a certain way, to complete a certain workout. I had now after I stretched and I got warmed up, I could do most of the workouts I was doing because I was trying to strengthen and fight myself through it, but I didn't know what to strengthen because I didn't know what was hurt. And come to find out, it don't take much of nothing to shift your pelvis in your hips. So we got to strengthen the muscles around our hips, right? We have to stretch and rotate and move our hips. You know, when I was in the military, I used to, and all my vets know this, I used to hate the hip rotation. I hated sitting there looking like I'm doing the hula hoop with nobody. I felt a little weird. Uh, but those things are actually important to keep you from injury. Hamstring strength and stretches, right? We already know how that goes. Strengthen these things, right? Um, you can walk. Walk is a real good workout. Is if you push yourself, right? You don't have to run to get the best workout. To be honest with you, your cardio don't start working out until you've been running for at least 20 to 40 minutes, I believe it is. That's when the cardio start kicking in. That's what running is good for. But to strengthen your your quads and your hamstrings, go ahead and walk, push yourself, power walk up hills, um, do lunges, right? I like doing the 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 jumping alternating lunges, right? I forgot what they're actually called, but those are one of my favorite things to do, and they suck, but I like doing them. All right. You have to do, and listen, these are just important areas that I'm talking about. This is not the entire matter. There are a lot of workouts that go in between here, right? But when we look at your hamstring strength and stretches, make sure you strengthening and stretching your quads as well, right? Be- and why? The hips and the hamstrings are good for everyday functions, but anybody ever watch somebody go to the gym and you got a guy that just he looked big, but he just didn't look right, right? Disproportion of muscle strength, right? So go ahead and work your quads as well. Go ahead and work your calves as well. Don't be that person that go in the gym that's all legs, no upper body, and all upper body, no legs. Do a full workout, but understand the importance of these areas. Arm and shoulder strength. You got to pick them kids up, right? You got to, if you're a daddy, you got to toss them in the air, let them fly for about 2-3 minutes before you catch them, right? Because those things, because that's fun to them, and those are memories to them and to you, right? To be able to pick your kids up and toss them, but those things are important. And so is your back and your core. And those are, listen, coach said he hate leg day. Hey, I bet you was trying to keep up with Roland on the run. You had to keep them. You had to get them leg days in. Hey, but we got to get out. We got to get on those hamstring stretches. You got to get your arms and shoulders. Get get your strength up on your arms and shoulders. I know as a man, y'all probably like typical. Every man always wants to get his arms big. To be honest with you, I think I hate doing my arms as much as I hate doing my legs. I like doing my shoulders and my chest but more. But you gotta get them in. I didn't under and another one that I didn't really understand until recently, man. Um, Roland noticed about 3 years ago, before I took my 2 year hiatus from the gym. I I ruptured my bicep tendon in my right arm, and it took them about 3 months to finally do the surgery. Then I was down for like another while because when I switched off of active duty orders, TRICARE wanted me to start from the beginning just so I can get approved for my physical therapy. So I had to do the referral process all over again because I went from prime to reserve select, and that just was too much of a hassle. So I kind of left it alone and kept telling myself I was going to rehab on my own. But let me tell you, a lot of things are hard to do when you don't have a bicep, and you never notice it because most of us don't really, if you don't flex it, you don't realize what motion and the things that you do every day, just stretching your arms out, takes strength from your biceps, right? Reaching down, grabbing something off of the top and bringing it down, right? Though that's the shoulder mobility, but your bicep is attached to that shoulder into that forearm. So strength, you need to strengthen your arms, the bicep and the tricep. You got your forearm, shoulder. Get We got to do something. And I know men don't have a problem with it, but some of our ladies on here don't want to have big, strong, big and what they call them brolic arms. You ain't gotta lift. You ain't gotta curl 40 pounds for you to strengthen your biceps. All right, just work the muscle failure. All right. Uh, but these things are important. Core and back. Core and back. I don't think I have to really tell anybody how important your core and your back strength is, right? There's a lot of things you can do. Um, there's a YouTube channel a few years ago I used to look at. Uh, I think it was like ghetto workouts because they work out in the park on monkey bars. And now there's a lot of different channels that do it. But man, when I tell you some of them workouts on those monkey bars, they life changing if you know what you're doing. Right? You can get a lot of strength just having fun doing what we did as kids. Right? That's why I kind of miss those parks like that. take my kids to the park so they can swing on the monkey bars. They can get used to that because that's strength. It helps strengthen your cores and your back, right? So, so when you are what you don't notice when you are getting up. Remember, we talked about getting up, sitting down. When you're getting up, when you're sitting down, to hold your posture straight, right? To run right, to 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 lift something the proper way with your legs, but also with your back. That's your back and core strength that allows you to do such a thing. That allows you to be more flexible with the things you do in life, right? You could do certain things like planks, right? Be honest with you, if you like monkey bars, you don't always have to do pull-ups. You don't have to go straight into that. Believe it or not, this is something that I used to do to help me be able to do a bunch of different stuff on there, and I need to get back to it. You hold on to the monkey bar, flip your legs up, and just flip and land. If you can still if you can still do it, right? If you can still do it without hurting your knees on the landing. But it's fun, and that's just that you do that enough and you do it often, you'll realize you won't even believe what kind of strength you start building. When they talk about core and back, it's not just your abs, but that's also help with your with those arm strengths, right? Uh, that also it also helps with that shoulder strength, right? If you can't do pull-ups, but you wanted to get on the bar and do pull-ups, one of the good things is when you're hanging from it, if y'all can see me good, when you're hanging, lift up your shoulder and drop them. Lift up your shoulder and drop them. Those things that'll help with your shoulder strength, and every time your shoulder roll up, it's going to help with your traps, which is actually a back muscle. But we always, but for the men, when we were in the military trying to get our tape tests, we used to do it for our neck, right? We used to be there doing shrugs all day. But your traps is actually part of your back muscle, not your shoulder. Your deltoids ain't got nothing to do with your traps, but it is it it'll help build those trapezius muscles as well, trapezoids, whatever. Uh, so so when you get on the bars or you're doing things, dips are good for your arms too. I think I saw someone bring that out there. That's also good depending on how you do your dips, right? They're good for your triceps, but they're also good for your core muscle, right? If you can hold them and then come up and drop, just hold them for 30 seconds. If you can't do a whole bunch of reps of them, do some, get down there and then hop off, right? Uh, said Lisa Keys used to be a personal trainer in the army and the master fitness. Hey, I could tell by all the jewels and the gems she been dropping in the chat. She on it tonight. Um, Michelle Ray might have been master fitness too. She been dumping them out too. But we got to get on those core muscles. Burpees are good for your cardio and it's good for your core, but do them right. Right? A lot of people like to do them fast. Don't do them fast. Start off slow and get and get your proper form when you're getting down there doing burpees, and do them slow till you're able to do them right. And I tell people this, so, disclaimer: with any workout that you do, any workout that you do, work yourself into doing that workout. Don't just jump out there. Excuse me. Don't just jump out there and try to be fast because the weight is light. Get out there and focus on getting your form right and stay with the light weight until your form becomes muscle memory. And then slowly start moving up your weight. I know for me, I get better results when I don't move fast on workouts, right? I know a lot of people that have to move fast. Sometimes it's because the weight is too heavy and now you're throwing it around, and that's going to cause injuries as well. Uh, burpees are a gift from God, Coach. You got to get on them. But you gotta take your time with these workouts, and you gotta You got to move and keep your form right, and then you start noticing not just your results when it comes to weight loss or muscle gain, or even in your physique, right? But it's the way your muscles round out. It's the way your body composition changes. So don't just get up there. And, I see people get up there and just just throwing weight around. Take your time. Full range of motions when you're dealing with weights. All right. And I'm just giving y'all some tips that I found to be healthy for me and to help me along the way. All right. So when you are in the gym, and I'm talking for those people who are going to get in the gym and start throwing weights around, do not be the short arm guys. I cannot stand you jokers, because you can't fight, because you've trained your muscle. What people don't know, when you get down on that bench and you do this right here, when you do this right here, that is teaching your muscles that this is the limitation of what you needed to do. Lock that thing. Everything you do, lock it out. When I do curls, I lock it out, right? Even when I do hammers, I lock it out. Now there are sometimes when I get to the point of contraction, because I'm trying to build size at that point. But I don't train that way. Don't train your muscles not to have full range of motion. It's just as important as it is for you to stretch and give your body full range of motion and elasticity. It is the same way when you are working and building that muscle. Stretch before, during, if you have to, after, and definitely stretch on your off days. Help that muscle repair itself. That's going to help blood flow continue to go. We talked about blood flow already. These things are important, right? Uh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You see people with them short arms and they're stuck like this. Get full range of motion with your squats. Get all the way down and come all the way up. Everything you do when it comes to working out, those full range of motion workouts are heavenly. Now, the last one, CrossFit. It's a lot of things that come under the scope of CrossFit, right? Even when you get on the bar, the way that you do pull-ups are different for CrossFits, right? Because they swing their body up, right? When they're doing, they swing their body up because the goal is to eventually be able to do muscle ups, right? That's with CrossFit. So your workout muscles you didn't know you had if you do CrossFit the right way. So do your research. Don't hold me or our people in the chat. Coach did all of us a favor. If I were you, man, click all them links that he gave out, save them into your favorites, and then go back and do some research. Go back and read these exercises, right? Get If you're going to get into CrossFit, right? Get into it, get serious with it. Don't allow people to push you and pull you too far, too early. But take your time, right? Matter of fact, I'm a caveat. Uh, Another thing to look into is functional fitness as well. Functional fitness uh, is not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a style of working out, but what some trainers have done, they've come together and they found some of the most effective workouts that are out there from all realms, from the weightlifting world, from the CrossFit world, from the Pilates and all of it, and they've incorporated it into a workout session that is supposed to help you strengthen your body and prepare your body for superhuman uh, abilities in your everyday life, right? It helps you do the everyday things. It helps you get up the stairs faster without being tired or sore, without reaching to grab your back and bending over. Help you carry the groceries in the house without having to take a break halfway up the driveway, up the walkway. All right. That's what these things are designed. That's what that's designed to do. So if CrossFit is too much for you to start with, look into functional fitness and start with some of those. And you got trainers online and everything like that. Get into it, do the research. Um, But let's remember how important our health is, how important this thing is, because it's not just about, I mean, it's okay to look good. Let me not say it's not about looking good, but it's not about looking good. It's about feeling good. See, these principles that we find out are taught in the scriptures. I think sometimes we do a disservice when we try to mystify some of the things that Christ said, some of the things that Paul said, some of the things that Peter said, right? But when Christ said, "But I come that they may have life and have it more abundantly," abundantly did not mean for you to live with heart disease and blood disease and pancreas issues and strokes. And he didn't have for you to live like that. That's not abundant, right? Abundantly, right? Full, to live a full life. The only way to do that is to live a full, healthy life. And I'm a disclaimer again, just in case somebody's in here listening to me, that's not a usual member of our community. But understand, abundantly and full life doesn't mean taking a trip to Barbados every year and driving in a Lambo or in a Porsche or in a Corvette. It's not about having the most expensive shoes and clothes in the closet. Those are things that I'm gonna say it how Christ would say it. I believe if he was here, those are things that even the heathens search after, but they shall have their reward. But to have a full life is to be able to serve the Most High to the fullest of your capabilities and to tap into the spirit, man, to be able to walk right and to be able to live right, uh, and to be able to do the things that we are supposed to do for the Most High, right? So let's not get caught up in our and our flesh, and that's really what the argument is. That's really what the conversation is. Because to be a part of this, to present your body as a living sacrifice is not the same as living in your flesh. We're taking care of the temple that he left back for us now until he comes to return and reestablishes his temple and reigns. So I say to you, my brothers, present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Christ, which is your reasonable service.
Man, listen, I just want to say for me, on behalf of everybody else, and I think I can speak for them, just thank you. Thank you for that plethora of information that you just provided. Me personally, I'm about to go. I got a swine sandwich waiting on me in about fit. No, I'm joking. I say that jokingly, but no, seriously. I know this is on the backside of Thanksgiving, and everybody had their opportunity to indulge in just a and let's just be honest. We're gonna be honest, right? We're gonna be honest. A lot of us ate more than we normally eat. That's just what the truth is.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so get out there and get your heart rate up. I don't care if you walk a little bit. Just get up every hour, do something, move, get your heart rate flowing. And that way you can get yourself back in shape. You ain't got to go out there and try to be Superman or Superwoman, but just go out there and try to be healthy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm at knocking on the door 50. I ain't trying to lift all them weights like I used to. And so I say that for the sake of just making sure that we're cautious in what we're doing so that you don't end up like me with a herniated disc back. Be careful and always be conscious of your health, not just based upon what you consume, but how you exercise as well. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about joining the community, right? The community is where we share this stuff. This is where, like minded people share this information. In fact, I kind of issued that in the chat for everybody to take all of this stuff because it was a lot of information that the people in the chat was adding to this entire conversation. And so I charge them. I'll say it that way. Take that information and put it into the chat window so that all of our brand new members who join tonight and moving forward can actually have a place to reference that. So that being said, man, again, I thank you, brother Gaddy. Great information. Thank you to everybody who has joined us on this evening to listen to this brother teach this information. Thank you, as always, to the people in the chat. You guys are the shining stars. Most of you are part of the Diamond Club as well, so you know how much we appreciate you guys. And again, for all of you who have not joined the community, join the community. Join the YouTube channel. Be a part of something that is positive. Stop following all that other negative stuff, talking about the news and politics. And that stuff is nothing but anxiety waiting to happen. Get involved with a community that is actually geared and designed to uplift you, support you, so that you can be the best version of yourself. So, that being said, have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you guys on Friday at 8 p.m. On the Hearts of Men podcast.